Welcome to the intro session we have at the beginning of every one of these Hatecasts. Now, guys, I have something important to tell you. It has to do with a sale. Those of you who are already signed up to the newsletter would have already known, but I guess I can let you in on a little secret. Labor Day is here, and as always, we use these holidays, or holiday with air quotes, really, as an excuse to launch a sale. So, from now until Tuesday at midnight, Ferox and Helios are both BOGO. Buy one, get one. Now, don't forget to add a second Ferox or Helios to your cart to get the BOGO. It's really important. That's how our store works. If you have not shopped with us before, this should be useful information, especially if you're going to be dipping your toes into the Chaos and Pain pool with Ferox or Helios. And don't forget, there's also a 30% off code that you guys can use. And all that jazz. So, as always, I will link those in the description box below. Now, this time I'm joined again by Ed, and we go over the remaining questions that we had from the previous Q&A. So, part 2, I'm going to just name it something like, I don't know, I'm going to be an ultra YouTuber and name it something kind of clickbait, but actually has something to do with the episode. So, with that being said, we have one more episode to shoot with questions and answers. That will be the Hatecast after this one. And then I'm going to start shoving guests in you guys' face and, your ears. It's fucking weird. I'm just such an awkward individual. It's okay, though. It'll be fine, guys. Just enjoy the show. Welcome to the newest Hatecast. That's right, the Chaos and Pain Hatecast. Now, I changed the name, how I title these videos, so it's just going to be, instead of CMP Hatecast, it's just going to be Hatecast, but it's going to be the same great programming you guys are used to. Now, I was just talking with Ed here, so today I'm joined by Ed. Say hi.
Hi.
Also, I am Groot.
I am Groot.
Okay, no. We're gonna work on your Vin Diesel. So
I've been trying to work on it. I just hold on. I'm Groot. I am Groot.
We'll get there. So I was just telling him that because his kid's home sick, and so we may have a little break in here. I may have to fill time, but I was about to tell him I kind of wanted to go over this on the podcast. I talk to myself like a crazy person as it is, so I could probably end up filling the time. But with that being said, guys, I've had one hell of a morning. So I woke up this morning and I noticed, during the night, because even though I'm taking our Hypnose product for sleep, I noticed I kind of woke up in the middle of the night. I was stirred, right? Other than apparently my wife telling me that I snore like a freaking log last night because I was just so out, I woke up in the middle of the night and, my dog was on the floor, which he usually sleeps on the bed. So, yeah, we're one of those people.
And how big of a dog? How big again?
He's a lab terrier mix, so he's a medium-sized dog. So
big enough to do damage, but
that
not
wasn't
too
the
big
issue.
where he'll.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the issue. See, so everything's fine, right? I get up, I go outside, and I see sawdust on my deck. Now, for those of you who are homeowners, you know that. When you see sawdust like that and there's no sawdust or places that it could have appeared, or you haven't been sawing something recently, you think termites. Well, call the pest control company.
Yep.
They said they apparently don't leave their poopy around, or their foss, I think they call it, or whatever, right? So they don't leave it around because they use it to build a nest. So literally, they just build it out of shit. So it's
Huh.
probably carpenter ants. So I deal with that.
Is that worse?
Well,
Is that worse?
they can do about as much damage as termites. For
Ooh.
you homeowners out there, make sure that you do take pest control seriously. But anyway, so I come back inside. Now, my dog was sick yesterday. He got into something. He ate something. Something wasn't agreeing with him. I don't know. Like, he's just been having, like, the worst waterfall shits you could ever imagine. And this morning, I go back into the bedroom, and behind the door, which, by the way, I just walked past, right? I'm stumbling in a stupor to take him outside because I really don't want him messing in the house. So the first thing I do is I get up in the morning, take him outside. It's just like he just blasted the entire fucking baseboards in the bedroom. Like he just blasted him. It looked like a
Carpet?
It looked like a war went
Carpet
on.
carpet or hardwood?
Oh, see, we got them nice vinyl planks. So it was just a little wipe up job. But still, you just completely, it was like all over the baseboards. It was all over the floor. It was just liquid. Oh my god. And then what ends up happening is nothing really else. I mean, we had a bit of a tech issue with your headset.
Yes.
So we are ready to get this thing started. I am going stir crazy. And yesterday I had a pissed off day too because I had to get in an argument with somebody about Bacchus. Now,
Oh, no.
Bacchus. Yeah. So somebody said, "How does Bacchus increase endurance?" And I tried explaining to him behind the mechanisms in which it does this. So, for those of you in the know, now if this is too technical for you guys, don't worry. Jamie knows, or Jamie has already made fun of me being a little autistic when it when it comes to this stuff. So just spout out shit, right, without really explaining it well. So I tell this guy like it's a PED4, not PED5. This is not Viagra, guys.
Mm-hmm.
PED4 inhibitor, which increases CAMP, which increases something called, oh crap, I forget the name. Hold on. PCG. No, it's not PCG. Anyway, god dang it. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I know what you're talking about.
So basically, and I will, by the way, since I fucked that up, I will go ahead and provide you guys description, or in the description box, I will go ahead and provide what I'm actually talking about. So it increases this thing that controls the lactate threshold, total body lactate threshold. So Kana, which is in Bacchus, increases endurance via that pathway, right?
Yes.
But the guy just didn't fucking get it. So I go to bed still pissed off about this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And man, I've had a rough couple of hours. I've had a rough day and a half. But I'm done complaining. Let's get into. It's supposed to be a Q&A. So first of all, how's your training going?
Well, going well, except definitely had a little break, with the sick kid and everything. Croup is terrible. I mean, you give a 4-year-old prednisone and watch out. I'm just saying. But luckily for me, I believe I probably have some Neanderthal genetics going on. So even if I don't train, for a little bit, I still maintain my lean muscle mass. Luckily for me, as long as I eat clean and don't go crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
See, and that's I'm glad you brought that up because life happens sometimes and people are so worried about missing the gym for any portion of time at all. And they tend to believe that that they will just waste away within 3 or 4 days. Usually about, and this is just a generalization, but about the time it takes to get over like a cold or something, because you see people going into the gym sick all the time. And when it comes down to it, like you're not going to lose an appreciable amount of muscle within that short amount of time. I one study in particular, I believe, was like 3 weeks, and they didn't see any appreciable muscle loss. Right now, that's stretching a little bit. That'd make me a little jumpy, but like if you take a few days off from the gym, like don't worry about it. Also, with your extended break, you're going to come back to the gym stronger too, which is another little saving grace to all of this. So,
Yes, that's true.
and speaking of saving graces, you just wrote a fantastic article on tricep training.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I was influenced by a very important individual who, Renee. This guy is just such a go-getter and upright citizen. He was fantastic.
All right, man. I don't need a fluffer. Come on. So, but yeah. So, could you go over a little bit how somebody would train triceps, just for conversation's sake? Because this is something I had recently been battling with. Because I had a little bit of tricep tendonitis, which I knocked out in an interesting way. So go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I used to battle with that because I've always been strong.
Yeah.
You know, stronger than everybody else. You know, sorry, hate me. I can't help it. But anyways, so back in the day when I first started training arms. By the way, my arms grew 2 inches in a month when I was 18, which was pretty cool. But anyways, yeah. I know I still have the stretch marks. I mean, war marks. But anyways,
there you go.
And lean too. We're not talking, I have 20-inch arms, but they look like, balloons that are inflated.
I have 20-inch arms. Okay, doughboy.
Exactly. Yeah. How much food did you eat last night? Well, anyways. So I was doing, skull crushers and all this craziness, skull crushers with, 135, just ridiculousness. And then I started to get tricep tendonitis, like I think everybody does.
Right.
So at that point, I completely cut them out. And my staples have always been bench press, because I bench a lot,
Right.
when I do bench. Shoulder presses, because shoulder press a lot, and then to kind of isolate it, I love reverse grip pull downs, and that's probably my favorite. And then I also do like single arm rope pull downs as well too, for that extension of keeping the hand in a neutral position. Right. And those have always kind of been my staples for tricep development. I do love to do bis and tris one after the other. Superset is what some people might call that. For some reason, it works better for me, and the pumps are just amazing. So when you asked me to do this article, I thought it was interesting, and I kind of explored vertical tricep lifts versus horizontal, which basically means the position of your humerus is what we're referring to, which is the big bone in your arm, if you don't know what that is. Well, when your humerus tends to be horizontal, it's away from your body, and when it's away from your body, you have less involvement from the lats, the shoulders, and all that good stuff. So you put more of an emphasis actually on the tricep muscle, which means you can use less weight and get significant results. However, you can also be not smart like myself and use a lot of weight on skull crushers and end up hurting your triceps. So for me, I kind of prefer more of the vertical, because it involves more of the lat recruitment. You can use more weight. Things just tend to be where they're supposed to be, lined up. It's easier to keep your humerus in the correct plane of movement, doing, in my opinion anyways, for me, in my anatomy, doing a vertical tricep movement versus a horizontal, where my elbows tend to flare out and the plane just gets messed up, and tendons get and ligaments get stretched this way and that way, and it's not good. So the easy answer to the question of which is better is whatever doesn't hurt is my answer. So if you can do something that stimulates muscle growth and allows you not to injure yourself, then that's the key for longevity. Because I think we've all been guilty of it. You want to get as strong as possible, especially when you're a newbie. But then after 22 years of training, this guy right here, both of my thumbs are pointing at myself right now, you realize that it's not as important to be strong as it is to be just in better overall shape and not hurting.
Now, mind you, his definition of strong isn't fair because the dude is still very strong. But you will get stronger over time. And something interesting that you brought up there is what doesn't hurt. Because, so what I found out mine was I think, now I may be wrong, but a little bit of a muscular imbalance. So I've been going through this rapid growth phase where I've went from 239 pounds, now I'm up to 280, right?
Wow.
And putting on that much weight and with the exercise selection that I did, I believe caused somewhere down the line some sort of muscle imbalance. So what I started doing is I started doing something which is trying to land my tricep movements with soft elbows instead of hard elbows, because I had a really bad habit. It's almost a subconscious habit of just banging out, right? Tricep extensions or something like that. And not really locking my joints, but doing that coupled with extremely heavy pressing, because just like everybody else in the gym, I have a problem with ego lifting. Now, ego lifting has its place, right? It's what makes strong people want to be strong. It's what makes power lifters and all that stuff. But at a certain point, like, if it's hurting you, don't do it, right? Now, there was this great quote. I forget where I read it, but it was there was this individual who said, if you could tell somebody, right? If you could tell a strength athlete, I believe it was somebody prominent in the strength and fitness world, but if you told a strength athlete there was a way to increase their lifts by 10, 15, 30%, they would automatically jump they would want to know how, right? But if you told them that they have to purposefully hold themselves back for 4 weeks and only do 2 weeks of really heavy lifts, they would look at you like you're crazy, right?
Yep.
They would almost fight against the earth. They would be in a fight with themselves whenever you put them on a regimen or a training program or something like that it requires them to do that, because it's strength sports and fitness in general is such an ego-driven thing. Like, even if you are competing against yourself, you're still competing against your own ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, like, that's what makes great strength athletes. But a lot of them hurt.
Yes.
But that's neither here nor there. But when it comes to tricep training and stuff like that, just do it like Ed said, do whatever doesn't hurt. If you have tricep tendonitis, I would also suggest working on your grip, working on your forearms.
Yes.
Because sometimes that forearm weakness and grip weakness can manifest itself with a little bit of elbow tendonitis.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I've also done to make mine go bye-bye, right?
I like it.
So, if you're interested in reading Ed's article, I will link it in the description box below. It's a fantastic article. I suggest everybody go ahead and give it a read.
Oh, you're awesome. So nice.
I try. So, also there's a write-up on Bacchus, too, to cover the last thing we went over. So I'll go ahead and link that in the description box below, too. Now, on to the questions.
Ooh, I like questions.
So, somebody wanted to know our thoughts on so this, I'm going to go ahead and try and pronounce it, and I'm going to go ahead and say the program, right? I mean, we don't hide behind this. We're not going to mention anybody by name shit. We're honest on this podcast, so we just kind of call people out if they need to be. So Have you ever heard of the SOFLETE programs?
Sofalite programs.
SOFLETE.
Sofalite. Okay, question. I don't even know what Sofalite is, man. Like,
So,
I'm gonna have to look it up. Or you tell me.
from what I can gather, right?
Okay. Okay.
SOFLETE is a basically. Have you ever seen these apps that are like they give you basically like a CrossFit WOD, so a
Yeah.
workout of the
Okay.
day, right?
Okay. Okay.
But the SOFLETE programs, or this in particular, lays out like it has a beginner program, a intermediate program, and a advanced program, and it has, you can either do push-ups or this, or you can do this or this. So it sounds to me like a little bit of a way that they can charge you to cut and paste, right?
Yep. Yep.
I don't mean to like pick on anybody or shit on people, but if you have the right people at your disposal, you have the right knowledge base. I think this is something that pretty much anybody with investment capital and a bunch of tech guys to do the tech stuff and the app stuff can put together relatively easy and kind of copy and paste people's routines into it. So I would highly suggest learning how to make your own routine, which
Yes.
would save you money in the long run. It would sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes, because if you don't have a problem with diet and your problem is training, it can cut out the need for a coach entirely. And that's kind of controversial for me to say because I know online coaching is a big money. It's a big industry right now, right?
Yes.
But if you learn how to do the diet stuff and you learn how to do the training stuff, right? Because the information's all out there and it's basically for free.
Yes.
You can, do that yourself. It's expensive too.
Yes.
I don't know if I would invest in something like that. Of course, I have a different knowledge base too. I would say that I know how to do the programming my own routines. I know how to do all that stuff. So, what are your opinions on those cut and paste like a workout of the day programs like SOFLETE is?
Okay, so my first thing is like, speaking for myself is I would never use that, but I do know some individuals that have been training for 20 plus years and they just don't have motivation to go lift.
Right.
And they're the ones that are always asking me for workouts and advice and stuff, which is fine because I want them to be motivated to train and to work out. I mean, I get it. We're all different and things happen. So I would say that if it fits your need for you to go and do it motivation wise, then I think it's a great thing. If you're relying upon it for your sole information and how to get the best workouts for your body to make it grow, lose weight, or stronger, whatever you want to do, then no, I think you need to learn how to do it yourself. And if you're a beginner, maybe it can help out, kind of get you where you need to be. But there's just such a wealth of information available now. And little plug here. If you do want some advice, you're a beginner or want some ideas, there's always this little Facebook group that I know of. I think it's
yeah.
What's it called again? Is it the
Chaos
Laos
and Pain.
That's right, the Chaos and Pain Facebook group. We actually discuss a lot of things, especially funny memes, which are kind of my favorite thing, and giving away free bottles of Ferox every Friday. But, other than that, yes, it actually is a place for a wealth of information with a bunch of different people that have experienced different things as far as their lifting goes and different areas. So that's what I personally would do. But that's just me.
And something else too is there is now don't get us wrong, there is a need for stuff like this, right? So
Yes.
you have people that okay, there are very specific individuals who have things going on in their life, right? Who
Yep.
have, like, let's just say, for example, they either work a high stress job or they have like a family life or something like that, and there's something in their brain that says to them that they will fight tooth and nail to be involved in the programming of their workout the minimal amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I hate to say it, but it is basically a cop out, right? So like
Yeah.
they just fucking they just want someone else to handle it, you know? They just want could you just give me my workout and I'll fucking do it. Just fucking do it. That's why they hire trainers and stuff like that. But with the kind of new age, internet generation, right? The whole this whole new wealth of information we have, and this new way of offering training and programming and stuff like that. This would be kind of a solution to those people, right? Those people who just
Exactly.
those people who just I can't even fucking you fucking ask me to program, I just quit.
Yeah.
And they're divas a little bit, but I also understand it too, because it would be nice just to offload all my training needs to somebody else.
Yeah. They don't want to think about it. And by the way, if anybody wants to pay me to do any of that stuff, hey, I'll I'll take it.
Well, also, something I did want to talk to you about, and I'll put you on the spot here right on the podcast. You think that we can kind of make a somewhat of a cookie cutter? Now, mind you, this is not individualized to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
We will never promise that this will work specifically for you every single fucking time. But what we can do is we can make a simple program for people to follow to see if they can't, this won't work for them. We can make a push-pull legs or a upper lower or something like that, so that people can kind of pick on that information from us. Do you think we can do something like that eventually?
Oh, I think we could definitely do it. We just need to make sure that we get the right tech people involved so we can make it look all pretty and everything.
Yeah. So we'll get some spreadsheets or some shit.
Oh,
But
I've already got spreadsheets, and I've already I might actually have a 12-week program that I put together for some close friends of mine that um, it's not your beginners workout by
right.
far. It's more about tricking the muscles and kind of keeping everything fresh and new. But I already have that, and I'll definitely send it over to you, and you can tell me what you think of just the template, and we can
Okay.
decide what we want to do. Because you bring up a good point there. During my training, I had a lot of success with workouts that, well, they're basically designed to bring up lagging body parts, even though they never mentioned that before.
Right.
Like the get your bench bigger in 50 days, and get your lats wider and things like that. So I've done a lot of those, and personally, where I am now, I do have weaknesses in the posterior chain, but everybody does from sitting down. And that's an ongoing battle that most of us will always have to face. But
Yeah.
as far as muscular development for like the beach muscles and competition muscles and all that stuff, I don't feel like I have any weaknesses. So my workouts are more athletic and geared towards whole body. Not to say German volume training, but
Right.
more of just keeping it fresh and real and having some kind of athletic component to it.
Also, just to let you guys know, Jamie does have some ebooks out. So if you're interested in his take on training and his way of doing things, he does have those ebooks. Although I'll be honest with you, the last conversation that Jamie and I had about those ebooks, he was actually wanting to update them with new information, or his opinions haven't necessarily changed, but he's added some things, subtracted some things, because what you've got to understand on all of this stuff is it is the great experiment every lifter has, right?
Yep.
So it is the thing that you will constantly be forever tweaking, right? And that's kind of the fun of it too.
Yes.
It's one of those things where I want bigger biceps. What can I do? What me, like, right? Personal accountability. What can I do to bring up my biceps? And it's fun. It's like a little, like I said, like a little experiment. And everybody learns some tips and tricks. Everybody learns some ways of doing things. Everybody has things that specifically work for them. Unfortunately, I hate to use this phrase, but in the world of fitness and your goals, you are a special little snowflake. What may work for you may not work for somebody else. And this is one of the only times that I will admit that someone is a special little snowflake, because people are relatively the same.
By the way, one thing, let's not get off on a tangent here. I'll just mention it. What do you think about doing an article on BFR and occlusion training?
I think it would be good, because there's a correct way to do it and there's an incorrect way to do it. Because a lot of people you see, I don't know, some wacky shit. I see people doing the whole tourniquet style occlusion training around their femoral artery.
No. You got to do it just to the veins, not the arteries. That's why you do it higher up. And when you do it higher up, you still get the blood flow into the limbs, but you slow down the blood flow out of the limbs, and you only want it to be a 7 out of 10 as far as tightness. Yeah.
So, but you know what I'm saying? You've seen a lot of people do it wrong too, right?
Oh yeah.
Also, I would like to know your opinions on blood flow restriction training versus metabolite training.
Ooh.
Because they offer some of the same benefits. And one doesn't require a tourniquet. Now, you could do my way that I would set up blood flow restriction training, if you're going to do that, is I would do like a week blood flow restriction training to 3 weeks of metabolite training, right?
Yep.
So you can get really this nasty, gnarly burn off of, the occlusion training, and then you can get more, time under tension, whatever. So more volume, because volume is the name of the game when it comes to growing, right?
Yes. Yep.
Somewhat, specifically. Now, look, you can get almost infinite volume by curling 5-pound dumbbells for basically ever, right? I'm saying, look, you motherfuckers take everything that we say fucking literally, okay? No, I did not mean curl 5-pound dumbbells for fucking ever. I meant more volume with adequate weight, okay?
Yes.
Let me just put that little caveat on there, right? So, and you can accomplish this through more sets. You can accomplish this through supersets. You can accomplish this through intensity multipliers, like Jamie's a fan of. So drop sets, giant sets, trisets. That's something that needs to come back, I believe. You know what a triset is? So you do 3 back-to-back different exercises.
I love trisets. We used to, call them giant sets, but
Oh yeah, giant. They have many different names, but that's the sort of stuff that you can kind of implement into your occlusion training too. Like if you're going through a nasty growth phase, right?
Yes, you definitely can.
But anyway, yeah, it would make an interesting article. I would also love you to do an article just tearing apart. I mean, what are your opinions on those stupid altitude training masks?
Oh my. Okay, well, those masks they don't work like you're training in Colorado, number one, because it's more about the oxygen density, not about how much blood or airflow you can get into your lungs. So personally, I've got some friends that have used them in the past because it's a fad thing, but no, I think they're a complete waste of money.
For a lot of people, it's that they saw the movie Creed once, and then they decided that they wanted to go put on like a mask that, by the way, has you basically breathing through a straw.
Yeah.
And thought that would make them look like Creed because, dude's muscular, lean, whatever.
No, but if you want something that recovery that's gonna help you do well, I will tell you this. I am a big fan of red light therapy, but let's not even go into
Infrared?
infrared and near red. There's two
Okay,
different
yeah.
spectrums you want to have. Yes.
Okay.
So infrared actually helps with the internal organs, whereas the red light itself is going to help with collagen production in the skin.
See, because I've been wanting to try one of those infrared saunas because they have some proposed some proposed benefits that I want to see, I want to experience for myself, right? I really
Yes.
haven't done much sauna work or because there's a lot of people out there that, are a lot newer in training than I have, and they have all these different techniques that they use to recover. And, because I, like I was talking to one of my friends up at the gym, and he's not, I'm not going to say weak, but he's relatively in the beginner stages still. Like he's deadlifting 225, he's benching, 185, stuff like that, right? And he's not skinny or anything. He's about 200 pounds or whatever. Like he's a beginner. Like
Yeah.
he's within his first to 6 months to a year in training, and he's already doing things like sauna, doing the whole contrast showers, doing the jumping into the hot tub, then jumping into the pool, then jumping into the hot tub, then jumping into the pool, stuff like that. And I think that I would be interested to see, like, if there was a study that I could set up, right? It would be take one group, have them do absolutely none of that, and then have another group and have them do all of that, right? And just follow them for their first year of training. Like first consistent year, diet controlled, volume controlled training.
Same
Although,
age has to be the same age too, because you can't do that with a 20-year-old versus a 40-year-old.
oh come on, man, you don't want some skewed results.
Of
But
course, of course.
have the 40-year-olds do the nothing and all. It just if their joints are just on fire at certain points.
What's wrong with me? I don't get it.
I can't walk. I've fallen and I can't get up. It just, I'd be interested to see that, but I personally haven't played around with too much of that. Now I've been looking into trying the sauna, right? So the thing that I've been doing, right, is just scalding hot showers, right? Just because it feels good to me, it's something that I like, right?
Come
And it
on,
has
we
some
know
of the
that.
same.
Hey, we know you do hot yoga.
Hell, well, actually, I've been thinking about at least, even I talked to one of my friends who's an MMA fighter. Like, there's a lot of things that I want to try so I can report back to you guys or report, just have a base of knowledge. Hot yoga is one of the things that I actually, because it's an in thing, right?
Yep.
I've actually wanted to give it a try and see what the all the hubbub is about. Also, I have a friend that is a professional fighter, right? Or was a professional fighter before the injury. And he knows all the people up here that I will need to know in order to go ahead and have my first bout of rolling, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rolling.
Ooh.
Just so that I can get some sort of like, because you have those things in your whole lifting career, right? That you've never tried and everything like that, and you just kind of dismissive about them and stuff like that. And one thing that is for certain, people who are into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you fucking talk shit about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're gonna get your ass beat.
Yeah,
Right?
you are.
They are
Yep.
just so into it, and they love
Yep.
it so much. And it's something that I have never. It's not that I've been dismissive about it. It's just that I've never tried it. Now,
Hey, I got a question. Do you remember the name of that movie that was about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I can't say that word today.
I don't.
Oh, it was fantastic. They were like doing flips and stuff and all that craziness. It
I
was
have
cool.
no idea. It's a. I can tell you from the people that because I follow a couple fighters and I follow like we used to work with a guy. His name is Aaron Johnson, Tex Johnson, and Cass and Payne did, that is. And I follow people in the fighting circle, and I see them all the time talk about, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, rolling, no-gi rolling. I'm just not deep enough in that world to kind of give my opinions on it. So I'm currently in the talks with like I said, my butt up at the gym, talking to him about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all the fighting stuff, right? So that I can kind of give that I have more of a knowledge base for you guys. Also more of a knowledge base for myself. I might actually like it. So,
hey, dude, the song was like this. It was banana way now, banana way now.
What?
Nothing. That was from the movie.
Oh no, I have no clue.
Man.
I am so the amount of movies that I've seen.
Okay, hold on.
So low.
I'm gonna stop you right now. Do you know about Big Trouble in Little China?
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh!
You've got to understand.
Jack
I am
Bauer.
So sheltered.
Jack Bauer. You don't know Jack Bauer? Oh my.
I will watch it, guys. If you have any movie suggestions, because I'm so sheltered. Go ahead and comment in the comment section below, and I will make sure to watch them, and then I will make references to them without any spoilers, because I'm not one of those people.
Boondock Saints, the first one.
I have seen it, yes.
Okay, good. Second one's terrible.
Yeah,
Don't waste your time.
I've also seen what's that other one? Bad Boys. Yeah, people are crazy about that, and I saw that.
I didn't really like Bad Boys that much. I mean, Top Gun. Now that's a classic.
My movie watching days kind of stopped at the late '90s, just because I got so busy and stuff. I'm just, I've always been kind of busy.
Have you seen Top Gun?
No.
Oh my!
I know,
dude.
I know.
Dude.
I know.
Days of Thunder?
No.
Oh.
People are just gonna start tearing me apart at this point, so let's move on.
Oh my God, Bryce! I'm speechless. I don't even know.
I know.
What's the next question, so we can get onto something? And I just, wow.
They wanted us to go. Okay, this one's a Chaos and Pain supplement question, so prepare yourself. Go into some detail about the chemical 1,4, and X products. Explain how they're different from pro hormones and what sort of results could one reasonably expect.
Okay.
I have a big reveal on this one. So
you want me to do a real quick thing? Because
you go ahead and you go ahead and answer this if you can.
All right. Well, there might be an actual article coming up on how testosterone works in your body. Look out tomorrow. Hint, hint.
Okay.
It might already be on the webpage. Hint, hint. I don't know. But anyways, so basically, DHEAs, or specifically the ones that Chaos and Pain uses, they have a special liposomal delivery system that enables it to bypass the liver and be active in the system. That's why you don't need as high of a dose, because you get more of it. Got to say that first. But here's the major difference. Okay, so when you are looking at them, right, you have androgen receptors in your body, correct?
Well, I would assume so. They're human beings.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so we hope you have receptor sites. If you don't, then I don't even know what to say. I mean, I don't know.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. So it's pretty simple. The androgen receptors are on cells, like muscle cells, and there's a lot of different different androgens out there, but specifically about the DHEAs, it's real simple. So one DHEA converts in the body into one testosterone. All right. Well, whereas 4 DHEA converts to androstenediol, the combination of basically one of those two, it's pretty much the same thing. They just get different names. But anyways, your androgen receptors, and then that converts into testosterone. So there's an extra step involved in the 4 DHEA compared to The one DHEA. One testosterone and testosterone both bind with the androgen receptors on your muscle cells.
Right.
So, in a nutshell, one DHA gets done a little bit faster and is one testosterone, whereas 4 DHA is basically going to be converted into testosterone. That is the simplest answer I could give.
Now, the differences, by the way, guys, because we get this question a lot too, the differences between one testosterone and testosterone is the anabolic properties of each of them. So,
yes.
One testosterone is a tad bit more anabolic than testosterone.
Yep.
And testosterone has an even ratio of both anabolic and androgenic properties. So, androgenic is the things that make you look more masculine, or make you more masculine, so to speak. So, what we're looking for in something that gives us something androgenic is we're looking for aggression, right?
Mm-hmm.
Help us attack the weights, help us make more gains, help us, attack any goal in life, really. Because that's something people don't realize is people have been taking testosterone like stockbrokers and stuff for years to make better decisions for their field.
Yep.
But with that being said, one testosterone, it will of course pack on more muscle mass, will be lean tissue, whereas testosterone is kind of like a nice base,
Yes. Oh, use the word base. I love that because testosterone is the base. Okay, let me repeat it one more time. Testosterone is the base. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we here at Chaos and Pain would like you to do, okay, is if you're going to try our pro hormones or our chemical series, we want you to try 4 first. Right, because 4 is the base. Chemical 1 is more for like if you're looking for more muscle retention or something like that. Now, chemical X is something special. It converts into nandrolone, right? So, what that means is it is the best muscle builder we have. It will pack on the most amount of mass because it is very, 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 very anabolic. So, I hope that cleared some things up. How it's different from other pro hormones is higher conversion rates. That means you're getting more of the actual targeted hormone. Also, something that's unique, a question that I had recently was somebody was going out to Vegas, right? So they were cutting a rug. They were doing all the things that you do at Vegas, which drinking is one of them, right? So something that people generally suggest against when you're taking something like pro hormones is they end up suggesting, hey, don't drink with this because of X and X reasons. Well, the reasons that they suggest you don't drink with them, or that you limit your drinks, right, with them, is because most other pro hormones are processed by the liver, right? And the old pro hormones back in the day used to be actually liver toxic, right?
Yep.
So, whereas with the chemical series, you don't have to worry about you having the occasional beer or wine, drink in moderation, people. The occasional drink, it's not going to affect the amount of targeted hormone you get, and it's also not going to affect your liver values. Whereas, mind you, the alcohol will affect your liver values because it's blah blah blah, liver blah blah blah. But you won't have to worry about the same risk with having a drink as you would with other pro hormones versus the chemical series, because the chemical series goes through the lymphatic system. It's a liposomal delivery. So, but I think we kind of answered that. So what sort of results could one possibly expect? Well, my big reveal to this thing is I have been bulking not on your traditional anabolics. I have been bulking on the chemical series this entire time. So I went from 239 pounds all the way up to 280 just on the chemical series alone. So,
nice.
You heard it here first. You can expect pro-hormone-like results from the chemical series. Now, mind you, our the results you're going to see from our products are going to be a little bit more significant than other companies because of the delivery system, because of the higher conversion rate, and because of the badass labels. But I that was a joke, people. Also, you're going to feel a little bit more alive, if that makes sense, because we have the added Fedosia in our chemical series, which Fedosia acts like HCG in the body. It makes you feel better, so you don't have as much of that chronic fatigue that you usually feel with other pro-hormones, as well as it's going to make it easier to recover from, because again, it acts like HCG in the body. So, that being said, we also have some other little stuff in there. Chemical series is great all around.
Oh, by the way, if anybody has questions about HCG or anything like that, my article on testosterone, I go over the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis.
Right. That thing. So
HPG axis for short.
So when that article is up, because in the article you'll also learn a little bit about the chemical series, because of course chemical 4 converts to testosterone. He's writing an article on testosterone. It's like it's meant to be. If you'd like to know a little bit more about the results you can see from chemical series, I will, when that article is up, link the article in the description box below.
It's up. It's on the website. We just have not put it on the Facebook group yet.
Okay, so
or
by
the
the time
Facebook
this
page.
episode airs.
Yes.
Excuse me.
It's already there. I mean, it's there. You can read it right now if you're near your computer.
I will.
I don't go into a lot of detail with my articles. I try to make them concise so that it's easier to retain the information. If you'd
like a more concise answer, again, we have a Facebook group that you can ask all these questions in, and we go into great detail on there. We also answer any other questions. Also, the questions that we get from there, sometimes we turn into questions that are answered on the Hatecast, like this one about the chemical series. So, this next question has a little bit to do with me, and somebody had a question regarding my weight loss and stuff like that. Are you okay to jump into the next question?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, and this one I'd like to know your opinions on too, because I don't know. Have you ever been through like a significant body transformation? Like,
you mean like dropping 50 pounds of body fat in, I think it was 14 weeks?
Oh man, so you have.
Maybe.
So how did you? First of all, what was that like for you? What was it like being 50 pounds heavier?
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I was on, again, we didn't have access to YouTube and all of the coolness or the Chaos and Pain Facebook group, you know?
Right.
So I was on the seafood diet, and seafood diet is if you see it, you eat it, which basically meant pizza, subs, bread, all the stuff that you don't want to eat when you're clean bulking, you know?
Right.
So I got huge. I got up to 272 pounds. You could see 4 of my abs, which for me is just, that's the worst shape I've ever been in. Trying to walk, I was breathing heavily. I remember one day we were walking in our neighborhood at the time, and there was a thunderstorm coming, and my wife and dog ran on, and I was just like, "Y'all go on without me. I can't do it." This big doughboy, can't do it. You know, lower back hurt. I had to exhale to tie the shoes. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
So, yeah, it was terrible. I just bloated, big. Yeah, not a good time. That's one of the reasons why I'm so against bulking, because it's not, in my opinion, doing it the way I did it is not good. So anyways, I decided that enough was enough, and I changed up the diet, got it clean, started doing the whole morning cardio thing, which I don't do now. ever,
Right.
and basically dropped those 50 pounds in about 14 weeks or so. And the thing about it was that, honestly, I really didn't gain that much muscle mass from what I went through. So I didn't see the point of it. And so I never did that again. And then, I was able to get up about 6 years ago when I was actually trying. I was able to get up to 250 pounds, but at about 7% body fat
Right.
at 5'11", which is pretty big. So, and I didn't bulk that way. I never did. I just did consistently grew over 3-4 years or so. You know.
Now, when you grew like that, were you like counting macros, or were you counting calories, or were you
Oh
were just
yeah.
eating?
No, I had everything down to science, macro counting. That's why I don't do it now. I hate it. And plus, I pretty much kind of can tell with my body. At this point, it's more instinctive with what I want to do. I mean, it was a job eating. We're talking I was eating 6 cans of tuna a day with mustard. You talk on the carbs were basically grits and brown rice, chicken, probably drinking like 6 protein shakes of 40 grams of protein a day. I mean, it was just out of control.
Right.
And I absolutely hated it. I just hated having to feed myself all day long. I got so much better stuff to do. So,
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm actually right now bulking. I'm up to 633 grams of carbs, 141 grams of fat, and 300 grams of protein. So,
oh, you understand then.
yeah, it's pretty exhausting. So, I'll go a little bit. We went how we. I think we had an episode on how Jamie and I kind of what worked for us in the past and stuff. What we've tried. I got off on a little tangent, but thanks for following along, kind of re-sparking this. So, a little bit more detail about my journey. So, I was obese in from the ages of, I think. So I was, I joke about it now, but I was born with the size my hands are now. Right, basically, like when I was in third grade, I had the size of my hands. My hands are big, right?
Hmm.
I also had the same size, pretty much, head that I do right now, right? And then so like I was the shortest kid in my class. I was made fun of severely just because I had gigantic hands and I had a big head. And then like I was like at one point I was like, I wish I was taller. I wish I was taller. And I kind of got more than I bargained for. So I went up and then I went out, right? So I not only expanded in height, I also expanded in waist circumference. So
Girth.
girth, hell yeah, big head and girth. That's all women want.
That's all.
So, God damn it.
You said it, not me.
So, but so yeah, I was a big kid, and I ended up, continuously gaining. All right, my wife's just looking at me funny. I was
I wonder why.
I wonder. So I continuously gained weight, and I got up to about at 16. I think it was like 430 pounds, right?
Wow.
So, and at that point, I had just kind of stalled in my weight gain. I would guess you would say, right? Like I wasn't gaining weight, I wasn't losing weight. I was just kind of there, right? So I'm guessing that was my quote unquote settling point, right? For years, and then when I hit 19 years old, right, or 18 or 19, right, there was this woman who is no longer a part of my life. I was like, I wanted to quote unquote get in shape because I was a fat piece of shit. Now, I did very little weights when I started out. I did a crap ton of cardio, and by the way, guys, I do believe this is something, and may be controversial, but when you're that excessively overweight, you do in fact need cardio, right?
Yeah.
And I
For
have
your heart.
well, not only your heart, but I truly do believe that you need something vigorous and something along, not necessarily like steady state cardio or whatever, but you need something where your heart rate is up long enough to kind of tell those fatty acids, all right, it's time to fucking get the fuck out of here. We need fucking energy now. We're not getting it from food. Just kick yourself into this fat burning mode. And this is for excessive amounts of weight, because you have like 20, 30 pounds to lose. You don't really need to increase your cardio, you know. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to add in cardio or whatever, right? Like I am all for like pulling back. I guess it's the bodybuilder in me, pulling back on cardio until you absolutely need it, right?
Yep.
Just because you can out cardio yourself into the point where you're, you know, like when I tried to keep up with it, right? When I got nice and skinny, my whole 180 something pounds, right? At one point. Yeah, it's crazy. I went from 430 all the way to 188. It's the lowest I ever. 176. 176.
How do you not have loose skin?
You know, I think I was blessed with genetics. I also made.
You were young.
I was also very young. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all a fucking illusion. It's all an illusion. It's cheating, right? I was young.
Yes.
But I also did shea with cocoa butter lotion. I do sincerely believe that me doing that through my fat loss journey helped me not have as much loose skin. Now, I do have a bit of loose skin. It's around my legs. So, and that's just, it's kind of helped that I put on muscle mass and everything. You don't notice it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, I was just very blessed in that regards, right? But anyway, so like I got all the way down there, and he mentioned the only times that I've lost weight were because of addiction to hard drugs. Now, funny thing you mentioned that. My mother did not understand the fact. Let me just story time real quick, okay?
Okay.
So my mother had this hypothesis of why I wasn't losing weight, right? Or what I was so big, right? It's because I never used to eat breakfast. So she says, you need a breakfast. So I was like, okay. And so I, like every fat kid, like waffles and syrup. Mm-hmm. All the syrup. Mm-hmm. All of the syrup. I'm not kidding. Whole bottle. All the syrup.
Wow. Oh, like Super Troopers.
Super Troopers, yes.
You've seen that movie,
one.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay, good.
I'm not that crazy, Meow. I'm not.
Come on, Meow.
So it's so she saw me have that breakfast, and she's like, "That's not a healthy breakfast." Now my mom's old school, right? She's an older lady, and so she showed me the right breakfast to have in her eyes, right? So you know what evaporated milk is? It comes in these little cans, and it's delicious, but it is also so calorie laden. For one of those little cups or one of those little cans of evaporated milk is like 1,000 calories. Right?
Wow.
So so it was unflavored, unsweetened Cheerios, right? So I had one of those, and she says, you just pour the milk over, right? And she's always treated me like I'm still like 3, right?
Yeah, moms do that.
Yeah. You just pour the milk over, and then she says, if you need to sweeten it up again, here's the kicker, right? Mm-hmm. Now, nobody in her family has ever had a weight problem at all. Everybody is just unfairly, stupidly skinny, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She has this old little container full that she uses as sugar, and it has this measuring cup in it, which is about a half a cup, like all the way up to the brim. So she just takes the entire cup, right? She pours it all over the cereal to the point where, like, you put the spoon down in the bowl, and it's coming up with like this sand that's sugar. It's evaporated. It's evaporated milk with this sand, this amount of sugar that literally makes it like congealed sand at the bottom of your bowl. There's your healthy breakfast.
Dude, that's the best part of, eating your Cheerios when you're young is at the end with the milk, and you put your spoon down there and it's just straight sugar. I love that.
No, I love it too, but it wasn't helping my cause. Like, that was my mom. and bless her, she doesn't know any about this stuff, and but anyway, so she thought I was on like drugs, right? That was what her mind went to, because I had made just this significant change. And I had to tell her, no, Mom, I'm just not eating as much, right?
Heroin, right?
People who lose weight or like quit smoking or quit, who are alcoholics and they quit alcohol, they tend to act like they've gone through this POW camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing that they did was the hardest thing imaginable, and you have no right to, like, they get super like, I did this. This means a lot to me. I did this. It's the best thing I've done in my life. And I'm not going to take that away from you. But, like, I don't have that view. It was, it was hard, right? But it was not the hardest thing I've done in my life.
No.
She was literally eating less food. The hardest part was actually getting started, and I was blessed to be in this era of information and this era of fitness. YouTube was just starting to pop, and it was I just kind of got I got lucky, right? Bodybuilding.com, I got on Anabolic Minds, I did all this stuff, and I kind of got my knowledge base I got a pretty good knowledge base pretty early on, so I was kind of prepared, right? Because I was the type, I don't know how to do something, well, I gotta ask questions, gotta Google stuff, gotta do all this stuff. Like, my thirst for knowledge has never died since I was basically 3 years old. And because of that, I really didn't have a hard part. I mean, I guess you could say, like, saying, no, I can't eat, dessert at a family gathering, or no, Mom, I'm not going to, indulge in this because you think that I'm not eating enough. I can tell you I'm eating enough. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, I have to... it got so bad to the point where I actually had to show her that I was eating at one point, because she just didn't believe that people could do that. Like, it was sweet and cute and everything, but she just didn't believe people could do that without, like, drugs or something, right? So, long story short, I didn't really have a hard time with it. It helps knowing that I don't have, like, an appetite regulation, right? So, even if I stopped working out and stuff, I would still need to count my calories, just because I don't know when to stop eating. Like, and by the way, guys, when I'm done bulking, I promise this to you. And if you would like to see this, please let me know, because it's something I want to show you guys. So there has been a couple different people who have said that it's bullshit, right? They've contacted me via Instagram, and they've contacted me on Anabolic Minds, and they've said that it's bullshit that I don't have an appetite regulation problem. And first of all, there's no reason to lie about that. And second of all, there will be a video coming soon, okay? That when I'm done bulking, when I hit the 300 mark, I will go on the most fantastic cheat day to get all my cravings and all that crap out of my system before I get really, really lean. And I will show you that I have an appetite problem, okay? It will be just like a competitive eater, and it will be up on this channel. So there's a little announcement, but yeah, it wasn't really that hard. Now,
a little bit of advice for you. Definitely, if you want to eat the most, skip the ice cream. It always does you in.
It doesn't matter. I get physically sick before I get full. So, I actually have it planned. Although it's kind of sad that Jamie's now where he is, because I had planned, like, I was going to get one of his favorite foods, which was like a cheesecake. He's always said that cheesecake's one of those things that he's always felt has helped him, because everybody has those foods that they believe that has helped them on their fitness journey or their strength gains or whatever, right? They always have that one food that they just kind of gravitate towards. Because when I was eating this, I got really big, that sort of thing. So I was gonna have a cheesecake, and then just to hear the reaction out of the man, I was gonna put Oreos and Pop-Tarts on top, because he absolutely fucking hates those. So I'm still gonna do it. He's not gonna see it for a while, right?
Dude, the best cheesecake ever is the Adams cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory. It's like a peanut butter. It's fantastic.
I know, but we don't have Cheesecake Factory here, unfortunately.
What?
I live in Arkansas, so.
Oh, you don't need to say anything else.
No, we do have good food here. It's just we don't have stuff like that. We have it just opened up like not too far from us, right? Tacos for Life, so that's going to be pretty cool. Ben and Jerry's store, also a Chicago deep dish pizza place, also opened up not too far.
Dude, deep dish is definitely the way to go.
It's apparently heaven. So I haven't tried this place, so I don't know. I'll save my judgment. That is one thing that I can tell you. If you ever go to Austin, I can tell you the places to eat. But anyway, so back to he had mentioned that how did people around you react? See, that's what got me hooked, is because when you get your first compliment, like you're looking better, you're looking like you've lost a bit of weight, and I'm like, no, I haven't, but tell me more. Like I was such the biggest compliment whore there for a bit. And it worked. Like I hate to say it, and I'm not condoning fat shaming at all, right? But it kind of worked on me. And that's kind of controversial, so I'll leave it there. But it's just one of those things where people reacted very positively. When people see a drastic change like that, they almost start rooting for you. It's a little weird.
It is.
They also start, I don't know, like they see you doing something like, this is with anything in life though, right? They see you doing something that's kind of cool, so they start wanting to try and like be friends with you more, I guess, or like improve your relationship or something. So I got to see this like people who were like complete and utter fucking assholes to me when I was bigger started to want to be my friend and started to. It was a very bizarre experience. But
kind of like the exact same thing happened to me in high school. I was the strongest kid in school, and then one day with this kid that was in our group, and when you have confidence, you just tolerate what people say. You don't care. You're like, whatever. And so one day he made a comment as we were leaving one of our rooms. I turned around and put him in his place. And it was like ever since that, then right after that day, everybody was just like all over me. It was really weird.
I did that too with one of my bullies. He ended up being my friend there for a little bit. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it is.
But there's people reacted very positively. He also asked, how did I get past my plateaus? So I just did. I mean, I didn't do anything specific. I just ate less, and I'm a big fan of controlling your diet and then creating excess calorie burn through added activity, right? So, because your body, you usually end up tolerating that better than just reducing your diet more, So, what are your opinions on that? Would you say that, like, if somebody were to start this weight loss or even muscle gain plan, is that something you'd concur with? Is that something you'd? I mean, how would you go?
Well, I definitely agree. If you're trying to lose weight, then I always recommend doing the least amount of work where you're seeing the results. So then when you do hit a plateau, you can add a little bit more, and you add small increments. Like you're adding, say, 5 minutes of cardio, or an extra drop set at the end of the workout. You don't want to go like a lot of us, and I've done it before too. Jump 2 feet first, and yes, I love classic cliches. 2 feet first, and we just say, hey, we're gonna. Well, if an hour's good, 2 hours is gonna be better, and I'm gonna do this, and then what happens is you end up. Yeah, I know, cortisol, and then it works for about 3 weeks, and then what happens? You're 3 weeks into it, you stall out, and you're like, okay, I've been doing 2 weeks or 2 hours of working out / cardio a day. Like, I don't have that much time in a day. I mean, I have to work for a living here. How am I supposed to do more? So if you do small increments, like 5 minutes, then it's just so much easier. So I definitely agree. And same with calories, you take away, like I used to do is I would take away, 5 grams of carbs from every meal. And when you're eating 7 or 8 times a day, that adds up. And people are like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And then I'd also do some stuff. Now, diet's a little bit different because your body does tend to adapt fairly quickly, but just because you have so many different hormones that are going on and feedback loops and all that goodness. So what worked extremely well for me was carb cycling. And I would be eating, about 750 grams of carbs on a squat day. And then the next day was just like an arm day or shoulder day. And I'd bump it all the way down to 300 grams. And then the day after that, I would go to 350, 400, and then bump it up to 700 again, and then do it all over. Of course, when you do that, you can't, for that to work for carb cycling, I found that you just can't have cheat meals, though. That's the one drawback, but other than that, the carb cycling worked the best for me for maintaining muscle mass and getting lean the fastest.
And that's something I did want to ask you too, because you have a lot of experience in this stuff, and so carbing. I know a lot of people who are like above 12%, above 15% body fat, tend to think that they need to carb up.
No, they don't.
And I just I would like to know your opinion. Like, when is the right time? I'm glad you brought up carbs because there's so much misinformation around them.
There are.
So when you are, who would you say needed a carb up, right? Because that's really the issue.
And here's the thing: it's the person that's looking flat and tired and doesn't have energy from their workouts. And if you're on the weight loss journey, I would not even recommend doing carb cycling until, number one, you're in single digits body fat percentage wise, and number two, for the first 8 to 12 weeks, you just need to kind of reset your body and do lower carbs, higher protein, higher fats. And then once your body gets used to that, then that's when you start doing the carb cycling. And the way that we could tell is if our pumps were terrible, because you basically want to deplete the glycogen stores in your muscles so that you're then burning off body fat instead of glucose for energy while you're training.
Right.
And so once that happens, you do that for about a day or so, and you just feel terrible. The pumps are terrible. Hence, you don't do it on these big lift days. And then you carb up, because then it works with this hormone called ghrelin, which basically regulates the amount of glucose and stuff your body uses. You also have some GLUT4 activation in there as well, too. But that's when you want to start doing carb cycling. And cheat meals also, if you're going to be strict and a competitor, I don't recommend doing cheat meals until you're, 5 to 6%, body fat.
Right.
Or if you've been strict for at least 8 to 12 weeks. And
people seriously overestimate the amount of carbs that they specifically need, too.
Yes.
So people who are, benching 225 for one, and I know for some people that's difficult and that's their 1 rep max, whatever, but like when you hit, 4 plates, 5 plates, your need for carbs goes up, right? Or at least I would think. Or at least that's my hypothesis, right? That's the way I would suggest somebody utilize carbs. So you're benching 4 plates, right? 405. You need more energy as well. So your need for carbs goes up, your need for calories go up, and so on. If you're benching 225 and you're like at 20% body fat, there's no reason you need to carb up. And I've seen, especially with the popularity of, because it's cyclical. You have things that go out of fashion, and then you have things that come back into fashion, then you have things that go out of fashion. So we just came up off of a big swing of keto, right? Because keto was the end thing, and now with stand effortings, vertical diet, and you have other it's starting to be like competitor season, and a lot more competitors, bodybuilding competitors, physique competitors, all that stuff. They share more about their diet now than they ever have before, I think, with Instagram and stuff like that. So you see them eating carbs and them eating like rice with every meal and stuff like that. So people have kind of swung back into the whole either high carb or carb cycling and low fat fad. And I don't mean it's a fad, because if that works for you, so be it. But these things are cyclical if you look in the fitness industry. So I'm waiting for people to fuck themselves up by going Atkins again. Or trying to do like what was it? I know Weight Watchers had that point system that you could eat 7,000 calories by eating the food that has the Weight Watchers logo on it.
That was terrible too.
It's crazy. I'm waiting for that to come back in fashion so that we can
Well, dude, what we do is we just monetize that, and we do it ourselves instead.
Hell yeah! And then we'll if you're doing Weight Watchers, guys, we have a bulking product you can go ahead and use.
I don't love it.
But anyway, it's like whenever Weight Watchers comes back into fashion, the scooters at Walmart kind of get their job. But it's just it's one of those things where carbs are interesting, and it's something we can go into. We can also go into contest prep in another episode. But I have one last question, and then I think we'll call it for this episode. So how does our training? First of all, what is our training like? What methods do we use and everything like that? What would we call our training methodology, and how does it differ from strongman, powerlifter, etc.?
Ooh, that is a very, very good question. So my training right now is, I would call it more instinctive, and I think that kind of happens to you once you've been training over 15, 17 years or so. You just kind of get to the point where, if you don't, I guess you get wiser also. And if you wake up and you're like, man, my lower back is really bothering me today, I'm not going to do deadlifts today. Instead, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, whether it be chest, arms, or whatever. And I'm definitely, I personally love doing things that keep my muscle or increase the time under tension for my muscles. Yeah. Supersets, drop sets. I love that. That's just me. I also incorporate a little bit of sprinting and playing basketball in my workouts as well too. And yes, right. Playing basketball done correctly is a workout. We've talked about this before. Yeah, and it is cardio, definitely. So for me, it's more about just kind of switching things up and making it fun. Because the biggest thing I found is after you've been doing this for a while, you it's not that your muscles quit responding, it's that your brain quits responding, and it just comes mundane, and you're like, man, I'm just bored. I don't have that desire to go work out today, So for me, I just keep it kind of fresh. And how does it differ from powerlifting? Strong powerlifting. Okay, well, as far as strongman and powerlifting goes, I'm not doing 1 rep maxes. I'm not training specifically for one lift. I've got a lot of friends that power lift, and they're awesome, and they do a great job at it. And, for them, the training is you're doing bench press, 2-3 times a week. You're not going to muscle failure. It's more about stimulating the central nervous system versus muscle, where I'm definitely, I'm more vain. I like to look good, without my clothes on. That's kind of how I am, Yeah. So for me, it's more about muscularity. I really don't care how much I lift. I've been there, done that, and I've had some pretty impressive numbers for me, not for a strongman, but I never trained to be a strongman. But for a pseudo bodybuilder, an athlete, I had some really high numbers. So for me, I just don't care to do that anymore. It's more about me feeling like I worked out the muscles. There's just something about just taxing your body and just like coming home and having to eat a bunch of food and waking up sore the next day. It's just awesome. Not injury sore, but muscle sore. And so that kind of motivates me. It's more about, getting a good workout than it is about what I lifted that day or meeting my goals or whatever. Because with Powerman and Strongman, it's a sport. So you also have to do a lot of periodization. And so your training methodology is completely different, because if you've got a meet coming up in 8 weeks, you have to do things, 12 weeks out to prepare for that meet to make sure
and
that
people
you're
have
at
their
your
5-year
peak
plans too.
It's 5 years.
That's becoming a thing. So
yeah, definitely
5 years of training all lined up.
There you go. I know.
Yeah, and then when you have the flu, you have to reset. But it just I'm sorry, I can't think past a couple months. And I have a general outline of my training. I mean, first and foremost, I realize that I'm very realistic in the way that I train. I know that progression is the goal, right?
Yep.
So lift the bar faster for more reps or heavier weight. Or more efficient, because I'm actually starting to care more about the technical aspect of lifting too. So when it comes down to it, I have a general outline of my training, and I would say that my training is more on the lines of what people classically think of a power builder. So, and not your new age power builder, which is like some guy with a pot belly who goes into the gym and does one rep maxes all the time, right? Hashtag power building. I want to look good naked. I want to look good. I'm coming where I come from with the weight loss stuff. I'm also vain. So I want to look good. I want to but in bodybuilding. And then so I have to train like one.
Yep.
But I do make instinctive training changes too. So I have, this recurring tightness in my lower back that's semi-uncomfortable. And probably because I'm deadlifting twice a week. So guess what I'm not doing this week?
Squats.
You son of a... No, I'm not deadlifting twice a week. I'm deadlifting once. And seeing if that changes anything. Now, that doesn't mean that my deadlift, my proficiency in the deadlift is going to go away. It just means that I'm not doing that this week, seeing if things improve, and if it does, I'm going to not do it next week and then the week after. And training deadlift once a week will make you better at doing deadlifts. It's so when it comes down to it, I have a general outline, like I said. And then I make adjustments as needed. And some days I want to do high reps, and some days I want to do low reps. But generally, I choose the week before based on how beat up I am the week before. So the tail end of this week, Friday or Sunday, I will say, hey, I'm feeling really good today, or my workouts have been going well. I think I'm going to increase the weight on this and this and this, or increase the reps on this and this and this. And this just kind of helps me prepare to get in there and get it done, just because I've gotten more busy. So, and it differs from powerlifting and strongman by not a whole lot. I do bench, squat, and deadlifts. Even though Jamie's not a fan of them, I am a big fan of them.
Me too.
So I do the big three. I also do overhead press. So I guess it's kind of a mixture with a bunch of isolation movements in there. Now, I don't do bent over rows, and I have a reason. I don't do bent over barbell rows because I don't feel them in my lats. For whatever reason, it's just one of those exercises that don't fire with me, right?
What about one-arm dumbbell rows?
Yes.
You don't feel it in one-arm dumbbell rows?
No, I do.
You do, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm 100% with you. The barbell row, It's more for me like stabilization, hamstrings, and back. Whereas I
Right.
get that one arm dumbbell row, I've got that squeeze going on those lats, you know?
Yeah. So it also has to do with my range of motion too, just because I'm a taller guy with more than your average limb length. So I might not feel it as much because my arm might have to go a bit further back or something like that. So I've started, what has worked for me is cable rows. So that is
Yes.
one, cable rows and dumbbell rows, and stuff like that. So it's kind of a mixture, powerlifting, bodybuilding, strongman. So hopefully I can compete in one or maybe all three. I don't know. Maybe I'll be one of those crazy people one of these days. So
Mariusz Pujanowski.
yes. Or Dan Green if he ever decided to get lean enough for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, good
God
point.
damn, he's lean. But with all of that being done, I think that leads us into ending this episode. So, if you have any more questions, go ahead and post them in the comment section below. We're going to be gathering more questions for another Q&A before we go into a specific topic. So, there will be one more Q&A after this one, and where we will answer questions, and then we're going to let them build up again, and then we'll go into a topic. Now, that topic may be a casual Sunday where both Ed and I, or whoever I have on the podcast with me, go into something that matters to us that day, or something that just popped into our head that we'd like to talk about. Or it could be, training specifics or diet specifics. I like the diet specific stuff because the training specific stuff generally ends up with me talking more about diet anyway, because that's where most people fuck up.
Yep.
But we'll have a topic ready for you guys. But so thanks for following along. Thanks for watching the video. Like this video because it helps us out. Subscribe to this video because it helps us out. And if you dislike this video, we still love you, but please don't hurt us like that. Please.
We're sensitive.
We're sensitive, yes. I've had a rough day.
I
But
can't help myself.
I'm gonna cry. But yeah, guys. So
I'm already crying.
We will see you in the next one.
See you later.
Yes, you're dead.